Okay, setting up state. So I'm pretty sure we're just going to pull in mobx-state-tree. We're going to give that a try, and if there's some hideous obstacle that presents itself, we'll reconsider. But I'm going to be erring on the side of reusability between the mobile app and the web app. So we'll pull in the mobx-state-tree, and then after that, we'll kind of do probably the separate video on style tweaks to kind of finish up the UI design. Other components we might want to pull in, probably the text input. Like right now, I can't even scroll down because we gotta fix something with the Tailwind CSS. Let me actually try to do that right now. I think we've got like a setting the height of the component of the container to H screen and not allowing it to scroll. Are we setting that here? Min H screen. Overflow Y scroll, maybe? No. But are we even using this template? Oops. How do I get the... There. Looks like we're not using this template because I don't see that there. Hang on. Dashboard guild. We're going straight to dashboard controller. Does inertia use the app blade? Oh. Okay. So, yeah. This isn't even being... This was basically the old version. Let me try this. Let me pull some stuff from here into here. What does that do? Oh, the anti-alias made it look a little smoother. And we have a scroll bar, but I can't scroll with it. I'm guessing the guild prose text white. Okay. Progress. Okay, and maybe that. With screen. Why is this not expanding to the right? If I do width the screen there, it's going to be too big, right? No, it's just going to ignore me. H screen, flex. $100 VW, but why isn't it? That's not the width of the screen. Oh, because of the prose thing is messing it up. Prose import has its own limits. That's from the typography extension of Tailwind. So let's just do that. That'll mess up the H2 formatting, but I don't care. Okay. All right, now we're scrolling. That's a lot better. And let me try replacing this with now. This is not pulling in my best import path, which is that. Yeah, let's just try replacing this text equals guild chat, preset equals title. Does that work? Oh yeah. I don't know. Title 2 and Title 3 were just some hacky things I did. And let's do text. Text equals. Preset equals description. What does that look like? Yeah. Except I want this to be. Why is that mushed together? I'm gonna pull in view from React Native. Let's make this a view. I'll feel better. And maybe if I do like a view style is flex direction column, maybe. Okay. Obviously the text input field needs to be also pulled over. Let's put that maybe as an objective. That's a bit more kind of cosmetic. All right, let's save that or commit that as fix guild chat formatting fix container formatting. Okay, now we're ready to pull in state now that we can kind of see what we're working with. Just to confirm, if I say hello, do I still have artisan? We reloaded our browser or our window, which reset all of our terminals, so we have to do that again. Okay, so right now we've got hello showing as a paragraph. Let's change this also to message. Test. Cool. Does this work also as a view? Gotta think about that. I love Tailwind, and I don't know how compatible. I guess there's nothing really wrong with mixing divs and React Native components, but generally it'd be best to be one thing. All right, so this is fine for now. This lets us see what we're working with. And I'm actually going to go into the... I'm going to go delete most of these messages out of the guilds. No, that's not what I meant to do. I do not want to play Minecraft at this time. No, I do not want to play Minecraft at this time. Let's go into Arcade 2, guilds, not guilds, messages. Oh, it'll be good to keep those first 3 because those were seeded and they're from a different user ID, so that'll be, let us test out the presets. In fact, we could probably do that sooner than later. Yeah, why don't we do that? Now, where are we rendering that? Guild. Preset equals, and we did this in the other code base. Where? Here. Now, message user ID. I don't know if this toString is necessary. Equals the user's ID. Do we have the user's ID? Question. What is the best practice in inertia for getting the current user? This looks good. We'll do this for now. Where should we put this? Dashboard controller. That looks interesting. Does it work? Does it not break, first of all? Okay. That doesn't break, something else does. Do we then have user here? Does it attach it as a prop or something else? Yeah, we do. Look at that. User ID. So, all we have to do here is say const. Let's call it user ID. I'm not sure about null states of this, but I think this should handle. Yeah, let's just do this. Message user ID to string equals user ID. Now, the user ID is not a string. Let's do this. Yeah. Perfect. And let me just put it down here. Now, it doesn't like. For now, we're going to do this. That'll all be replaced with our state setup. All right, so we've got the preset changing depending on whether we sent it. These are seeded from some other user. It's just checking to see if it came from us or not. And that should be good. All right, let's remove some of this console log. I don't need this. And I don't need this. And I don't need this. Okay. All right, clean up our environment a little bit. And what did we say that we just did? Support sent plus received presets. Okay, we're set up. It's a little cleaner. Oh, we gotta fix that messages count thing. I don't care right now. That'll all be fixed with the state. All right, so we're pulling in mobx-state-tree. Let's learn about mobx-state-tree. I've used Redux before. I don't know enough to like really comment on the differences between these things. I know MST has a less boilerplate, and this is just what, when we got this code base initially from this development firm, they use MST, and it's been really great to work with, so we haven't really felt like changing that. So we're using mobx-state-tree. It's a state container that combines the simplicity and ease of use of mutable data with a traceability, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Big words that sound cool. To put in plain language, what this does as a state tree, it manages state. So all of the like variables that you need, like where the messages live, where your user data lives, in a place that can stay constant, like from screen to screen as you're moving from one screen to the next. Some of the data that you're going to need to reuse, you want to put it somewhere that's not tied to like a screen. Like right now, there's a lot of this wallet data is tied to the wallet component. So when I click away from it, it like freaks out, like where, I don't know where to put this data now. And because the component gets like unmounted or destroyed when it's so that's something that will come around and like extend this MST tree to use wallet stuff later on. So we have in the mobile app a beautiful sort of initialization flow of the MST in these files, like set up root store, where we got the root storage key. We're setting up the environment where a bunch of the services live for calling the API and stuff like that, setting up a root store. Rehydrating the API token auth. Track the changes to the store and save to local storage to rehydrate later. Integration with the state viewer application called Reactotron, which we'll probably use also for this. Blah, blah, blah. And we set that up. Where do we set that up? Yeah, in this root component. We're basically probably going to move this whole thing over into our app. Let's just take a look at it. This checks for app updates. That's something kind of particular only to the mobile app. Set up the environment. Pass that environment to the setup root store. Set up files, load images. Check the user permissions on the mobile app to see if they have, location permission and stuff that we need to run the app. Then save the store. This is like the loading stuff that gets done before the splash screen on the mobile app gets hidden. And this sets up the state tree, among other things. And some of the other things are going to be needed for us to any kind of pre-caching, blah, blah, blah. Basically, we don't need to do all of this right now, but we are going to keep as much of the sort of entry logic in terms of the flow the same, because that is what the mobile app, like the app expects, and we're pulling over a lot of that stuff into what we're doing. So this is in the SRC app folder. Now, what are we going to want for an entry point? I think this uses, source app entry. I guess we could have a full file called entry. Let's think about this. So right now, Mix is pulling in resources.js dashboard.js. Yeah, I know this is like the sort of default way of initializing the Inertia app. I know Inertia's got its own sort of like mechanism of handling loading, which we might want to use. Services like Echo, this like may end up making more sense as a service inside of the app setup process, like the environment and stuff like that, because it's generally, if you're like attaching stuff to the window object, that's just not the best way of doing things. Like the window object is there as like the sort of global state of last resort, but it can get polluted. You're just throwing a bunch of crap in there, and then it gets messy, and other apps can access it. Maybe, I don't know. We want to keep that in our own setup. So probably we'll end up replacing or moving some of this code out of here. So let's do this. So in our SRC folder right now, we've got lib and views. Let's create app, and let's just keep it as consistent as we can, unless we have a reason not to. So let's just call this entry.tsx. And over here, what does our entry file do? The description is set status bar, hide warnings, register the root component. That's sort of from Expo. Sentry, I don't even know if that works on the web. That's for bug reporting. Load the splash screen async, status bar. Some of this stuff is particular to the mobile app. Squelching some errors. Register root component. So a lot of this stuff is not quite relevant, but it can be nice to at least have this as kind of a placeholder file for other stuff like this that we're going to want at some point. So the root component will probably be this, I think. Let me see what our root component over here is. If we're using Storybook, then it's the Storybook root. Otherwise, it's this provider. And that wraps the stateful navigator and the modal container. Now, I don't think we're going to have a separate navigator object because it's handled by inertia. So it does seem like let me do this. I'm going to get rid of the entry. Let me think. The dashboard is the application. Is it correct to call it the dashboard? But it's only going to be for people that are logged in. Still not entirely clear how this app logic relates to other parts of the site. Like, are there going to be read-only parts where it doesn't make sense to log in and there doesn't make sense to load all this code? We're still going to want to take advantage of the code splitting from Webpack Mix. So for now, I'm going to rename this to dashboard entry. As in, when you load the dashboard, this is the file that you come in with. And there can be other entry files that load other parts of this if they don't need as much, but we still want to take advantage of this structure. Okay. Just something that solves the needs for now and is kind of extensible in the right way down the road. So I'm going to change the mix. Oh no, wrong code base. This is the mobile app. Don't screw with the mobile app. All right. I'm going to call this dashboard entry. And then in the mix file, resources /js/src/ app/dashboard entry .tsx, and then on the inertia page we're going to change dashboard.js to dashboard entry. I think that'll do it. Let's try it. I mean, that's going to break everything else because I haven't moved the code over yet. But let's make sure that it's pulling in the right. Okay, can't find module root component, but we are pulling in dashboard dash entry, which is properly bundled. Okay, good. That's annoying. Whatever. Okay. Dashboard entry is looking for root component. Is root component going to be the same for other entries? You know, I don't want to make myself crazy thinking of too much of that right now. For now, we'll just keep the same structure. What does root component have in it? Okay. Things I know that we will need. Setup environment and setup root store. Let's do this. Is it going to let me do that? And then the root component is going to return Okay. I'm not used to letting inertia just do all this work for me. Yeah, this isn't even taking place in a component. So the loading is done on a page by page basis. And then the page loads the layout, and then the layout is where should we do all this init. And then all of the pages. Okay. So I guess we can use inertia for things other than the dashboard and not load all the stuff for the dashboard. So that's not going to be decided at the level of the entry file, but it is going to be decided at the level of what page gets loaded by inertia. And then that page will have a layout which can have shared logic like loading the store. So we're going to want to have the shared logic of the page if it's in the layout, not that layout. Like right now it's pulling in this file, layout. It's like here is where we're going to want to initialize the app. Are there any extra components we need to render? Okay, so I guess the like mental shift I have to make is that in the mobile app, we're doing the initialization. When the initialization is done, then we're returning the components that show you what everything looks like. But here, inertia is already taking care of what everything looks like. We need to do the initialization for the state, while also ensuring that what we return is wrapped in the provider with the state. And everything else has to be underneath that. But that's handled by the layout, because inertia is going to put that layout like higher in the component tree than what we're rendering. So yeah, the children is there. So basically I would put, so it sounds like I need like a dashboard layout, not dashboard entry. Let me try this. Source app dashboard layout, and this may end up living more in like the views folder or something. So it's going to be basically structured like a layout. Let's do like a sample. First, let's just make sure that we're here. And then let's say, all right, for now I need to remove these menu things. I just don't want that there. Now, are you saying that all of the pages, okay, we're loading the dashboard page. And all of the guild is a page right now. So I'm going to change this. Let's do dashboard layout as layout from app. What is it? Oh, that's weird. It's like, do you mean your app folder there or the app folder there? Because I have two app folders. So I might want to rename that at a point in time. But I don't see layout there. Where did I actually put it? Why didn't it offer me dashboard? There it is. Import dashboard layout as layout from app dashboard layout. Then make that the layout. Layout. What does that do? I don't see anything. Oh, it's still compiling, maybe? Maybe I've freaked it out. Let me try rebooting this. Oh. I need to undo the dashboard mix, the thing that I did here, because that's needs to go there. I'm just going to comment that out. The entry, that's not going to work. I don't think. Okay. Let's try that again, and then let's go back to the app.blade and replace that with dashboard. Okay. All right, at least it loads. And I removed the sidebar. I'll add that again later. So we've got console that we're console logging the dashboard layout thing. So we are where we wanted to be. Now I just want to remove this crap just so I can just focus on what we're doing. Okay. So now the guild, like the other pages in the dashboard, don't currently have this layout, but let's just get it working for the guild first, then we can apply it to the rest of them. Now this is going to be code that we want to load only once. I think I remember reading that it will fire only once. We can test that moving nav between pages. I don't want to bring the sidebar back just to test that right now. So let's just kind of proceed. So here in dashboard layout, we're basically going to want to do the kind of initialization that we were doing previously in the root component. I want to do all of this stuff. And so what I think we'll do is, so instead of this root component, let's rename this to, setup, or this could be like dashboard setup. Let's let's do this. So this will not return a component. Maybe we want to just return, do like init all. How do we have this over here? Things that we need to do. We basically need to return a store. Like, set up the store and return it. Yeah? Is there anything else we need to return? Yeah, the like meaningful thing that happens here is that we have the store and we're setting it into the state. Which I guess we want to do that in the, like the layout will maintain the state. So this, we want to be here. Now you can't call asynchronous functions and await for them in useEffects. You have to call a separate function. So let's do this. This can be async. We're going to want to import from dashboard setup init all. I might just call it init store, but this is fine for now. So we're going to await. Oops. Const store equals await init all, and when we have the store, we're going to set store. And just so that it's not shadowed there, I think that's the right word for that. I'm going to do this, so it's not the same as this variable. App ready, that's for like loading stuff. We might do that later. Now let's do this. Okay. Because then we can just put that store in the provider and then return something else if it's not ready yet. Much like this over here says, if the app is not ready, return the splash screen. So it doesn't try to load a provider with a store that doesn't exist. Okay, that should work. All right, so it's trying to pull now setup and setup environment. Let me do this. Provider. Where do we get the provider from? Setup root store. Okay. All right, I want to commit this as start new dashboard layout. And now we will pull in the setup environment and setup root store files. I'm going to need environment model, setup environment, and setup root store. Okay. So one of these errors is cannot resolve mobx-state-tree. Now we cannot resolve services. Are all of these relevant? How many of these are relevant? Ooh. think we'll have services stay empty for now. All right, what is it trying to pull in? So let's see what's going. What is this stepping through? What order? Init all is first trying to set up the environment. All right, trying to pull in all of this stuff and config. For now, I don't want any of this. You know, maybe we'll do Reactotron now, just so we have one example service, because Reactotron is what we'll use for logging. Okay, so let's pull over the Reactotron services. Reactotron service. Okay. And then I gotta do index. All right, we've got Reactotron. I'm gonna comment all this other stuff out. Okay, cannot resolve Reactotron React Native. Now that's not the Reactotron that we need to pull in. All right, so we need, might need to replace that async storage. So let's pull in mobx and mobx-state-tree, or did we already pull in mobx-state-tree? I think we did. Mobx. We need Reactotron MST. We do need that. Oh, yarn add mobx and Reactotron MST. All right, let's see how we install. I don't know if we need Reactotron React Native. I'm guessing we need the web version. I don't know if the API is the same, but let's try that. Async storage, I don't even know. I don't know. I'll just try pulling that in. Okay. Can't resolve package.json. And remind me, why is it doing that? Config, yeah, I don't care about that. Okay. All right, we've squashed all the errors except it's looking for the root store. Oh, use React Native. Yeah, there's gonna be stuff we're gonna have to change here. I don't know. Yeah, I imagine a bunch of that will need to change because it's. Okay, so we need root store from stores root store. Let's see if we can just maybe pull that over. Yeah, so let's just try this. Oops. Nope. Stores. Root store index. All right, now we have a bunch of stuff here that's not going to be seen. So for now, we'll just pull in the root store. And we'll do a dummy prop called hello types optional type string world. All right, I think that's a bare minimum root store. Okay, we're at green, but something's not going to work, I guarantee you. Let's see. Underscore dev is not defined. Reactotron, that is only relevant in React Native. For now, I'm just going to try commenting out everything that gives me an error. Just I'll mess with production later. I don't care. I don't care. Script URL, that's something for native. I don't think I need those things. Dev is still not defined. Where? Oh, set up root store. No, no. Okay. It's not connected to Reactotron because I don't have Reactotron open. So let's try that. Cannot read property load of undefined. Connection, Arcade City. State, do we have a root store here? No, we don't. Okay, cannot read property load of undefined. env.storage. Okay, so that's in setup root store, which I don't, yeah, this is not relevant. That's for rehydration, which we'll figure out with storage in a bit. Okay, cannot read property track MST node. That is why we're not being able to see anything in console.tron. I guess we never assigned it to that. Oh, that's because that was this thing here. Console.tron equals tron. Booyah! Okay. Crypto.eth, why is that? I'm guessing that's just from leftover from last time I was doing this. Okay. So, Reactotron is a way to see the current state of your mobx-state-tree store, and then any actions or logs that you want to do. Like, I think I should now be able to do, let's see. Let me go back to the dashboard setup. Let's see. So we're setting that up in the environment. So basically, anytime after I set the environment, I should then be able to, and I'm sure TypeScript will probably whine at us. Console.tron log. Hello. Okay, so we got a debug message. hello. And if I wanted to like display a prettier message, I could do name, hello, preview, it's set up, value. Let's say I want to like show the value of the env object, and let's make it important. Hello, it's set up, env, you know, graceful, you can check in object and stuff. It's like a little easier than the browser console, and you can just see like the different actions as your tree gets changed around. So that's really good that that's working. So let's commit that as configure Reactotron. The type didn't give me a problem. That's good. So we have Reactotron set up. We have the environment being passed to setup root store. Setup root store apparently works fine out of the box. I didn't need to change anything here aside from remove the storage rehydration for now. That's being ignored because there's no anything there. I don't know why we're doing this, and I'm going to try to not have to do that. I don't know what that's for. Am I using window.env anywhere? Galloway. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. All right, we're also exporting the provider. Now let's see if that works over here. Well, we don't need this here. We do need this in dashboard layout because that's where we render the components. So, how we give all of our components access to the store oops. I think. Now, what's your problem? Provider props. First of all, let's see if that's how we're actually initialize it. A root component, maybe. Provider value equals store. Cool. Okay. We'll commit that as set up MST provider. Okay. Now, let's go back to our message component. Are we pulling from the store here, or this is just a dumb component? Where do we pull from the store? Like in a chat room? That's probably relevant because that's basically what we're building in the guild screen. Okay. What you can do now in any component is pull in the sort of sub stores that you need using this React hook called useMST, which it looks like we did a custom definition of that. And then you can have components react to changes in the global store. And you're only listening to the changes that you actually care about. So, pretty cool. But we do need this. We are going to put this in the guild component. So next we're going to test to make sure that we are able to pull from the store. So we apparently have a hook called libhooks. Let's see what that is. Okay. Let's pull this over into libhooks. Better to not use relative paths. Okay, that might do it for that. And then in guild, now right now we don't have any substores, but we do have hello? Hopefully that doesn't give us any TypeScript errors. And let's see if we have hello. Booyah! Hello, world. So this is pulling from our store. It's pulling hello, world. So now we can hang, like a chat store with messages there, and then throw stuff into the store, and then our components that are rendering all of the store, like messages, will hear any changes made to that. All right, so let's call this guild connected to provider. Connected to store via use MST and provider. It just means that our store is properly glued to components. Okay, so we're building chat. So that logic belongs in a chat store. Now let's see what is relevant of the chat store from the mobile app, because it would be nice to just pull over this entire thing. Open chat with player, send message, set up broadcast listeners, set active chat room, set chat room. Okay, pretty simple. I think I want this whole thing. City chat slug. Okay, because in the mobile app, the only thing that's in there in terms of group chat is the city chat. And we're going to want to continue supporting that. Yeah, you can see me dropping F-bombs trying to figure out push notifications. Yeah, let's just pull over this whole thing. Some of it might not be relevant right now, but chat store. Pull that into stores, chat store. And then what else do we have in this directory? Yeah. Let me just pull over this index file. And I'll hide these for now. And then in root store, let's pull in the chat store model and initialize it. Okay. One of our chat actions, open chat with player, relies on the API service, which is not pulled in. So do we want to comment that out or pull it in? Well, that might be good practice for starting to make API calls via the API service, which is how we do it in the mobile app. Getting our web app to make API calls similarly is great, because if we build code on the web, we should be able to easily copy paste that into the mobile app, which is the ideal. Because it's a bit faster of feedback loops to build code on the web because we can just deploy it instantly. Don't have to mess with people wrangling with app downloads or whatever. So we want to get into a flow where we can make changes on the web, test it out, and then push it out to the mobile app. So let's pull in the... So first I'm going to call this pull in chat store. And then next I'm going to pull in the API service. And then the API URL, we're not going to use the API to endpoint anymore. Looks like there's a bunch of stuff in here we're not going to have. Interesting. So right now we've got all of the API calls in one giant API file, which we'll probably want to split up into sub files, because right now it's trying to pull in all this service store stuff that is not relevant right now. Although I'm wondering, what if I just pull over this store without introducing more errors? Cannot resolve stores. Player store. Cannot resolve moment. That's being deprecated, so I need to remove that anyways, but we can at least smash that. Cannot resolve lib UUID. Lib get constants. Expo constants. That is not going to work. Who's using get constants? Device name. I don't care about that. Oh, Expo wanted that. Expo push token. Are we even using that? Yeah, I think we are. But it's not relevant on the web. Yeah? All right, I'll just... Turf helpers. Green. Okay. Something's got to be screwed up though, right? This is going to be so cool when we get it all working on the web. Wow. Some type errors. We're not doing the circle integration at this moment, so that can wait. But we're not having any compilation errors or anything weird here. Oh, okay. So we're trying to see if we pulled in the chat store. Yeah. Okay, the chat store, and there's no chat rooms. So that's really good. And also this might kind of force us to kind of clean up our how we were dealing with the guild chats, because I don't know if that's going to be a super clean drop in to work with the store as it's currently configured, because the chat room, it expects like a chat room object. And I don't know that we created like a chat room object for the guilds, or did we? There's something we didn't do. Like we didn't have the users join that chat room. Although that may not matter. Let's see. All right, so what did we do there? We pull in player and service store and some libs. Okay, chat store is working, but let's take a look at it. The chat rooms we know about. Okay, I'm guessing that the messages for each chat room live on the chat room model itself. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that was a change from previous. When we refactored this from Firebase to Laravel, that just seemed to make sense. I don't remember exactly why. I guess because Laravel returns it when you load the messages relationship on a chat room, it just puts it all in the chat room object. So that's fine. So what we want is for the chat room with the messages object to be populated into this store called chat rooms, this prop of the chat store. And then for the interface to loop through this instead of the raw thing that we get from the inertia and the pusher object. So we are going to begin when this page loads by getting information from the page. Now this is interesting because in the mobile app, we have to assume that we're getting nothing until we make an API request. Whereas here, we're getting data from inertia, which is making an API request for us, either on the initial page load or when you navigate to this guild screen from elsewhere in the dashboard. So we're going to start with all of the existing chat rooms. And so when we load the page for the first time, and you can tell from this empty one that this is somewhat of the equivalent of a previous React lifecycle hook, I think they call it, lifestyle function. Component will mount. So this will load once when the component mounts. So what I want to be pulling in here is chat store. And I believe chat store has an action called set chat room. And so we're going to need to create a chat room from the information that we have. A chat room is an instance of the chat room model. So it seems like what we're going to want to do is loop through all the chat rooms and create a chat room object for each. Now remember, right here we're just rendering lobby because we got to kind of figure that out in terms of how to render multiple chat rooms. Right now we're just assuming that there's one, and we're just kind of having the home screen of the guild just show the guild chat. That'll be changed. But for now, loop through all the chat rooms to create a chat room object for each. with the messages as part of it. So we don't need hello. Like after that, we then subscribe to Guild broadcasting channel for updates. And this is, we are, I think, going to definitely want to change this to chat room instead of Guild. Although I guess Guild should have its own chat channel, but for chat rooms, we'll keep all that consistent. Okay. Now, right now we're saying that chat rooms is any, but can we add a type to that? What am I doing wrong here? Oh, because we can't assume it? Yeah. So chat rooms is going to be an array. Is this going to be the same as what's in chat models? Like, can I import? There's some difference between like TypeScript types and what MST uses for types. And then if you do this, does it have something that's interoperable with TypeScript? I don't have all of that quite clear in my head, but let's figure this out. So if we import from chat store, which imports the chat models, I should be able to import chat room. There it is. Now, is this actually an array of chat rooms? That's what I would want it to be. If it is an array of chat rooms, now what's the problem? Const channel name. Do I have an error? Oh, silly. Okay. See, now this is no longer any, it is array. Now, whether that is actually what that object actually is another question, because it doesn't know. Because I don't know exactly if this is, I don't know what the type of this is. Oh, yeah. Inertia has its own page props definition, which I don't know. But I know that we've passed this as an array. So chatrooms.map or chatrooms.forEach, yeah, it automatically puts the question mark there because it's potentially undefined. Okay. For each chat room, now I think I can say that a chat room is going to be a chat room because we specify that above. Do I need to build a chat room object, or can I just save the chat room if it's already the same type? Well, let's see. First of all, let's console log it out. It might be as simple as just dropping this object into the store if I've modeled the chat model mobx-state-tree type of chat room after exactly what comes from the Laravel API. And I don't know. Okay, so here's what the chat room object looks like that we got from Laravel, passed through inertia to our React component that we are looping through. Created at the guild ID, the ID, the messages, name, pretty name, type guild. Now, let me try something. Now, why can't I have a type completion thingy here? I really want it. Is it because I've got this deprecated? I don't know why that is using that, but there's an... Let me try this. Instance comes from mobx-state-tree. Now, does that make any difference? No, I still don't have access. All right, what am I trying to do? Let's try set chat room. I'm going to guess that that's going to error somehow, because I'm guessing the type or the object is going to be incompatible with what it's expecting. But I'm happy to be proven wrong. Yeah. Okay, error while converting. This to this. Oh. There's a whole thing in here where we normalize chat objects. Convenience functions, yay. Okay, look at this. So this is a function that I built a while ago for just taking a chat room from the API, normalizing it to the way that our app expects, and then we can set it. Sweet. So let's do this. Const chat room equals... Okay, so this is not actually the chat room object that we're expecting. After we normalize this from the API, and do I have a type for the API chat room? Looks like no. So, it's actually not correct to call this chat room. Oh, wait a second. Do I have a type for API chat room? Yes, I do. Good. Okay, and where is that? Services, API, types. So let's do this. Yep. And then I need to pull that in from normalize, maybe? Now, have I exported that from the API object? I might not even need to do that. I'd just be able to do that. And then normalize API chat room. Oh, yes. Okay. Loop through all the API chat rooms. Show me what they are. Normalize them and then set them. Can I property save? So first of all, okay. I don't know why is there that many? Legacy observable array. Well, so that looks like it's working, although it doesn't have guild ID. So I gotta add support for that. But can I read property save? env.storage.save. I don't want to do that. I thought I commented that already. Okay. Chat store, chat rooms. Booyah. Okay. Very nice. Look at this. All right, so yeah, I've got all the messages in here. And this is what we're going to loop through. Now I need to add guild ID here. And then what's cool is when we have a list of guilds, like in the guild store, then we can have guild ID be a reference to the guild. And then you can just kind of say chatroom dot guild dot and then pull information off the guild object without having to have things multiple places in the app. Awesome. All right, working so far. So what I then want to do is listen to the messages of the chat room and show that. Basically, for now, I want it to be the same. Although, depending on how right now this is basically looping through an API chat room. I don't know if like that will need to change on the normalized chat room. Yeah, see it now. It's what do you call that? Camel case instead of snake case. And that's why in the past, when I was earlier like, why does that one have an underscore and that one doesn't? It's because when we normalize it, we make it kind of like what the JavaScript standard is, which is camel case. Okay. Becoming clearer now. So chat rooms, instead of just looping through that chat rooms object, we're going to call this API chat rooms. We're going to loop through API chat rooms. Oh, chat rooms. Okay. Make sure it still works. No. Chat rooms. Oh, now we need to actually define what chat rooms is. Watch this. Const chat rooms equals chat store. Const chat store is any. Const chat store should not be any. I think I know the problem. Const chat store, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Okay, now it's saying chatrooms.map is not a function, and that's because this is not actually an array. And to do that, if I remember correctly, we need to pull from mobx values. And then I think that turns it into an array that can be mapped through. All right. Let's see what is not working here. First, let's see what this is. An empty array. Did we mess this up? Okay, first let me log chat store. Okay. Values might not be the right thing to do. Interesting. I assumed that this would re-render, but it's not. Because it's not being set until here. Oh. You have to wrap the components in an observer, or else it's not going to be able to listen for the changes. And let's grab the syntax for that. Import observer from mobx react. And you just wrap the function in it. I haven't installed mobx react. There we go. All right, let's get rid of some of this cruft here. All right, so chat rooms works, and yeah. So now look, this is now looping through these. It's not looping through the API chat rooms object to show the messages. So instead of maintaining this extra abstraction of the heard messages, we'll remove it. And then instead of this, and we will probably move this logic to a separate action that fires when the chat room is initialized. But for now, we can say chat store, and actually, can I see if I can narrow down where this... I think somewhere I've accidentally defined chat store as any. I'll figure it out later. So e.message. Now, do I need to normalize that? Because that's coming from, I might need to do this. Const API message is an API message, e.message. Now, do I have this already somewhere else in the app code? Well, it's kind of nice when you write code once and then you realize that you've already written it. And okay, so message created, API message. Okay. Yeah, because there's additional logic that needs to be done to ensure that the player exists. Because if you get a message from someone who's not in your player, like repository, then we gotta go get it. And if you're getting a message out of the blue from some new person, we gotta make sure that the chat room exists. I think we can get away with not doing that stuff at this moment, but we are gonna need to do that. So, yeah, this is looking good. Chatroom.add message. This has access to the chat room object. What does it have access to? Get or create. Well, at least I've got a clean convenience function there. I just gotta figure out what is minimally necessary for this to work for our purposes at this moment. Oh. Well, yeah, I can move this. Basically, yeah. So we have the chat room right here. And then when I change this to chat room, that'll be easy to... All right, so... I need to pull in message and normalize API message. I think message is right there. Oh. That conflicts, so I'll call this message type for now. Normalize API message. Okay, and then does that work? Maybe. And I'm going to ax heard messages. Goodbye. Moment of truth. It works! Woohoo! So, I no longer have, things split between what we got from the server and what we're getting from Echo. It's all going to the store. And if that seemed like a lot of work, this is just the very first implementation of, rendering stuff from the store into one area, but we now have a source of truth for the app that's all beautifully set up and initialized. And you can see if I do that, then that adds another thingy there. Cool. Okay, so we have state set up. That's a good stopping point for here. And then the next we'll probably want to get the player data, the player store set up, so that we can attach player data to these messages. And then we'll be almost done with this feature set. Cool.